Hey guys, so today I'll be going over the Invisible Person project. So I took these photos in RAW using Adobe Lightroom on my phone, but you can also use, the several other apps that we've mentioned throughout the semester. So I edited these in Adobe Bridge, and I did some color correction and cropped them. And so the most important thing in this project, and really in this class in general, is learning how to use mask. So you use a non-destructive technique, so you can always go back and change things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the jacket and the pants. And I do select the shoes, but I remove that later. And then I'm going to go to Layer, and then Layer Mask, and then Reveal Selection. So you can see that mostly did a good job of getting rid of all the background. And so now I'm going to do the same thing for the glasses, which were a little more difficult, and I also used the Polygon Lasso tool to kind of get in there and get the things the selection tool would not read. So then I'm going to go to the Reveal Selection again, and so that's looking pretty good. It's still a little rough around the edges, but overall that's looking good. So I'm going to go into the mask settings. I just double clicked on the mask itself that's in the layer panel. So I'm just going to go through and clean up all those little spots I missed, and then also play with the contrast and feather tools to try to make it seem more natural and less harsh. I also do completely remove these shoes because I realized that it would be better to just take a separate picture of them to make them look like an invisible person's actually in them, so I could get the inside of the shoes as well. So I got that pretty much looking how I wanted it to. I do go back later and just tweak the smoothness settings. But I'm gonna go do the same for the glasses. And I missed some of those edges, so I'm just gonna go and clean those up. So that's looking pretty good. I'm just resizing things to try to get it look more proportional. And so now I've brought in the separate pictures of the shoes. So now I am cutting out the shoes, and I think this worked out way better. I'm just doing the same exact method I did earlier. Remember to use a mask so you're not editing directly on the main photo. This is good in case a client needs you to go back and change something, or if you decide that you can improve something, your file will not be dependent on you having to re-edit something. You can just edit the layer mask or remove the layer mask. Sorry for a bit of a pause here. I was having to take the cat into another room. So now I'm going to go ahead and make a mask, and then I'm going to edit it so I can fine tune it. So I'm going to go in with the lasso tool and get all those edges out. Remember, you can change how the lasso tool works. It can either add or subtract. I accidentally had it on add right there. If you don't have a tablet, I would especially recommend using the Polygon lasso tool rather than just the freehand lasso tool. You have a little bit more control, and if you use a lot of points, you can, make a round edge even though it's mostly straight lines. So now I go back and play around with that feather again. And that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna adjust the shoes. I actually have a reference photo so I could kind of get them to scale. So make the glasses a little bit bigger. So that's looking good, but the collar of that jacket is still not making it look like an invisible person. And also another element of this project is incorporating your patterns from the last assignment. So I think I'm going to incorporate them on the jacket. So I'm selecting the pieces I want to be patterned, and then going down to that little half cookie under the layer menu, and I'm using a fill pattern. And then I did a color burn because I thought it looked more natural than just having it overlaid on top. You can still see the creases. It kind of looks like the fabric has that pattern on it. So I attempted to mess around with the clone stamp tool to try to fill that collar, but ultimately decided it would be easier to just have a solid layer. So I add a solid color. And then I use white to affect the mask of that color. I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to adjust some colors and curves. Oh, but first I'm going to add a little background with a pattern I made for the last project. This was really easy. I just selected out a triangle and then hit that little half cookie again to make a fill. So I'm going to play with the levels on the shoes because I think they were looking a little yellow compared to the stark white of the background. And then I'm going to play around with the hue and saturation of the pattern on the sleeves. And that's all I have for you guys today. Remember, you can come to office hours and I can help you with masking or whatever you need. Just remember to use masking for this project. It just makes everything so much easier. If you need any help or have any questions, feel free to email me, and have a great week.